Let me tell you about the darkest moment of my life. I was broke, depressed, and convinced that life had nothing good in store for me. I felt like a failure. Perhaps you know that feeling when you look at your life and wonder why nothing works out, why everyone else seems to have the secret except you. I was there, but then I stumbled upon a truth so profound, so simple, that within weeks my entire world began to transform. Money came, opportunities appeared, but more than that, the feeling of hopelessness lifted. I felt alive again. And now, decades later, after teaching this to thousands of people around the world, I can tell you with absolute certainty, if it worked for me in my darkest hour, it will work for you. No matter where you are right now, no matter how impossible your situation seems, let me show you how. My dear friend, I know why you're here. You're tired. Tired of trying so hard and getting nowhere. Tired of watching others succeed while you struggle. Tired of positive thinking that doesn't seem to work. Of prayers that feel like they hit the ceiling and bounce back. Maybe you've read the books, attended the seminars, repeated the affirmations, and still, your life looks the same. You're starting to wonder if something is wrong with you, if you're somehow the exception to all these universal laws everyone talks about. Let me stop you right there. There is nothing wrong with you. What's wrong is the method you've been using. You see, most people are trying to change their lives from the outside in. They're using their conscious mind, willpower, effort, forcing to make things happen. But your conscious mind is not where the power is. It's like trying to change your reflection in the mirror by touching the mirror. You must go to the source. And the source is your subconscious mind, that vast, infinite intelligence within you that controls your body, your habits, your circumstances, your entire world. Now, I'm not speaking from theory here. For over 30 years, I've been studying the relationship between the conscious and subconscious mind. I've counseled thousands of people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all problems. I've seen this method heal terminal illnesses, restore broken marriages, create financial abundance, and bring peace to tortured minds. Not because I'm special, but because the law is reliable. When you work with it correctly, it must produce results. That's what makes it a law. In this video, I'm going to address the real reasons your previous attempts didn't work. Why positive thinking alone fails most people. Why affirmations often feel empty and ineffective. Why you can't force your subconscious to cooperate. Why effort and struggle actually push your desires away. Why the state you're in matters more than the words you say. And then, I'm going to give you the precise method, step by step, that works with your subconscious mind instead of against it. Imagine waking up tomorrow and instead of that familiar anxiety, that heavy feeling of, here we go again, you feel expectant, hopeful, like something good is coming. Imagine watching doors open that were previously locked. Imagine people, opportunities, solutions appearing as if by magic, but you'll know it's not magic. It's you, finally working in harmony with the most powerful force you possess. That's what's possible when you apply what I'm about to teach you. Now, let me be clear about what this is not. This is not about sitting around daydreaming and waiting for a miracle. This is not about denying reality or pretending problems don't exist. This is not positive thinking, or self-hypnosis, or any kind of trickery. This is about understanding how your mind actually works, the conscious and subconscious, and using that understanding to create the life you desire. It's scientific, it's practical, and it's been proven thousands of times over. What makes this method different from everything else you've tried? It's based on one simple truth. Your subconscious mind accepts what you feel to be true in your heart, not what you merely say with your lips. Most methods try to override the subconscious with repeated words. But words without feeling are like seeds, without soil, nothing grows. What I'm going to teach you is how to impress your subconscious with feeling, with the actual experience of your wish fulfilled, so deeply that it has no choice but to manifest it in your world. By the end of this video, you will understand how to identify exactly what's been blocking your desires. You'll learn to enter the state where your subconscious is most receptive. You'll know how to plant your desire in the right way, at the right time. You'll discover how to let go of the anxiety and struggle that push results away. You'll recognize when your subconscious has accepted your desire. and you'll learn to speed up the manifestation process naturally. But, more than techniques, you'll gain something deeper: confidence. The unshakable knowing that you have within you right now everything you need to transform your life. You'll stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like the creator you truly are. So here's what I'm asking of you. Give me your complete attention for the next 2.5 hours. Not distracted attention, full presence. Because what I'm about to share has the power to change everything. Not someday. Starting tonight. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Before I give you the method itself, I need to tell you some stories. Because the truth is, you'll forget techniques, but you'll remember stories. And these stories contain the essence of everything I want you to understand. I once worked with a woman named Margaret. I'll never forget her. She came to my office bent over in pain, her face gray with suffering. The doctors had told her she had an incurable arthritic condition. They'd given her medications that made her sick but didn't help the pain. She was 52 years old, and she felt like her life was over. I asked her to sit down and tell me exactly what the doctors had said. As she spoke, I noticed something. Every single word out of her mouth was about pain, limitation, and hopelessness. I can't do this anymore. My body is betraying me. I'll never be well again. These weren't just words, they were prayers. Negative prayers. And her subconscious mind was listening and saying, "Yes, thy will be done." I stopped her gently and said, "Margaret, your subconscious mind is like a faithful servant. It doesn't judge your requests as good or bad. It simply accepts what you impress upon it and makes it real in your body and your world. You've been impressing it with images of pain and limitation. Now we're going to impress it with something different." I taught her a simple practice. Every night before sleep, in that drowsy, receptive state, she was to imagine herself doing all the things she loved. Not imagine herself trying to do them, not hoping to do them someday, but actually seeing and feeling herself doing them now. Gardening, walking freely, bending down to pick up her grandchild, moving without pain. But here was the key. She had to feel it. She had to close her eyes and actually feel the sensation of moving easily, of strength in her joints, of comfort in her body. I told her, "Your subconscious doesn't respond to words. It responds to feelings and images. Make it real in your imagination, and your subconscious will make it real in your body." She did this every night. For the first week, nothing changed physically. But she told me something interesting. She felt different. She felt hopeful. She felt like something was working, even though she couldn't see it yet. In the second week, she noticed she woke up with less stiffness. By the third week, she could bend her knees without wincing. 2 months later, she walked into my office standing straight, with color in her cheeks, and said, "Dr. Murphy, I feel better than I have in 10 years. My doctor says he's never seen arthritis improve like this. He called it spontaneous remission. But I know what it was. I reprogrammed my subconscious mind." Margaret's healing wasn't a miracle in the supernatural sense. It was a miracle in the scientific sense, the natural result of working correctly with the law of subconscious mind. Her body always had the intelligence to heal itself, but her conscious thoughts of fear and limitation were blocking that intelligence. When she changed the impressions she was making on her subconscious, her body responded. Let me tell you about Robert. Successful businessman, beautiful family, everything going right until it all fell apart. The economy crashed. His business failed. He lost his savings, his home, and worst of all, his confidence. When I met him, he was sleeping on a friend's couch, 56 years old, feeling like his life was over. "Dr. Murphy," he said, "I've tried everything. I've sent out hundreds of resumes. I've gone to interviews. I've prayed until I have no prayers left. Nothing works. At my age, nobody wants me. I'm finished." I looked at him and said, "Robert, do you know what your real problem is? It's not the economy. It's not your age. It's not the job market. Your real problem is that you're treating your subconscious mind like an enemy instead of a friend." He looked at me confused. I continued, "Every time you say nobody wants me, your subconscious says, Okay, I'll make sure of that. Every time you think I'm finished, your subconscious arranges your world to match that belief. You're using the most powerful force in the universe against yourself. I taught him what I call the thank you method. Every night before sleep, he was to say, "Thank you for my perfect job. Thank you for work that uses my talents and pays me abundantly. Thank you for the opportunity to serve and prosper." Not as a wish, not as a hope, but as a grateful acknowledgement of something already done. I said, "Robert, when you thank God for something before you see it, you're impressing your subconscious with the feeling of already having it. And that feeling is the secret. Your subconscious will move mountains to match your feeling state to your outer circumstances." He was skeptical. "But Dr. Murphy, isn't that lying? I don't have a job. How can I thank God for something I don't have?" I smiled. "Robert, in the realm of spirit, everything already exists. Your perfect job exists right now. Your subconscious knows where it is and how to bring it to you. But it needs one thing from you: acceptance. When you give thanks, you're accepting the gift before it arrives in physical form. That's faith. And faith is the language your subconscious understands." He tried it. For 3 weeks he practiced gratitude every night, sometimes during the day when doubt crept in. And something interesting happened. Opportunities started appearing. A former colleague called. A chance meeting at a coffee shop. A conversation that led to an introduction. 2 months later, Robert called me, his voice trembling with emotion. "Dr. Murphy, I got a position better than anything I had before. Better pay, better conditions, work I actually love. And here's the strangest part. The company had just created this position. It was perfect for my skills, like it was designed specifically for me." I told him what I'm telling you now. "Robert, that position was designed for you. By you. By the faithful servant within you, your subconscious mind, working day and night to arrange circumstances to match the impression you gave it." You see, Robert didn't just get a job. He learned the great secret. Your subconscious is always working, always creating, always manifesting. The question is, what are you giving it to work with? Fear and doubt? Or faith and gratitude? I want to tell you about Sarah. She was 38, never married, and deeply afraid she'd never find love. She'd been on countless dates, been hurt, disappointed, and was starting to believe that maybe some people just weren't meant for marriage. When she came to see me, she had a list, and I mean a long list, of all the qualities she wanted in a husband. He must be this height, earn this income, have these interests, believe these things. On and on it went. I listened patiently, and then I asked her a simple question. "Sarah, how do you feel when you think about marriage?" Her face fell. "Honestly, I feel anxious, like it's never going to happen, like I'm running out of time." "There's your problem," I said gently. "You're trying to use your conscious mind to create a very specific picture. But meanwhile, your dominant feeling is anxiety and lack. Your subconscious doesn't respond to your list. It responds to your feeling. And right now, you're feeling the absence of a husband, not the presence of one." I taught her something radical. I said, "Forget the list. Instead, every night before sleep, I want you to feel married. Not think about being married. Not hope for marriage. Actually feel the feeling of being a happily married woman." She asked, "But how? To who?" "To no one specific," I said. "Your job is not to figure out who or how. Your job is to capture the feeling. Lie in bed and imagine a wedding ring on your finger. Imagine rolling over and feeling someone beside you. Imagine the deep peace and joy of being loved and cherished. Imagine calling your family to share good news about us instead of me. Stay with that feeling until you fall asleep. Let your subconscious find the person and orchestrate the events." She was reluctant, but agreed to try. For weeks, she practiced, and she told me something beautiful happened. She started to feel happier, more peaceful, less desperate. The anxiety melted away. 3 months later, she met someone at a work conference, someone she would have overlooked before because he didn't match her list. He was a different height than she specified, had a different job, different background, but when she talked to him, she felt something she'd never felt before: home. 6 months later, they were engaged. A year later, married. She called me after the wedding and said, "Dr. Murphy, you were right. I was looking for a list of qualities, but what I really wanted was a feeling, and when I impressed my subconscious with that feeling, it found the perfect person to give me that feeling, someone better than anyone I could have designed with my limited conscious mind." This is true for everything, my friend. Your conscious mind thinks in specifics and limitations. Your subconscious mind thinks in feelings and infinite possibilities. When you let go of the how and focus on the what it would feel like, you give your subconscious room to work miracles. I need to tell you something about my own journey. Because if I'm going to ask you to trust this method, you deserve to know that I've lived it myself, in the darkest places. There was a time in my life when I felt completely lost. I'd been studying metaphysics, reading spiritual texts, learning about the mind, but my outer life was a mess. I was poor. I was depressed. I looked at others who seemed to have it all figured out, and I felt like a fraud. Here I was, teaching these principles, and I couldn't seem to make them work in my own life. One night, I'll never forget this. I was sitting alone in my small room, feeling utterly hopeless. I said out loud, "What's wrong with me? Why does this work for others but not for me?" And in that moment of complete surrender, something shifted. A thought came not from my conscious mind, but from somewhere deeper. You're trying too hard. You're treating your subconscious like an opponent you need to convince. But it's not your opponent. It's your friend. Stop trying to force it. Start trusting it. That night, I did something different. Instead of desperately reciting affirmations, instead of trying to visualize with great effort, I simply lay in bed and said to my subconscious mind, "You know what I need. You love me. You want the best for me. I'm going to rest in you and let you take care of everything." And then, and this is important, I felt a wave of peace. Not because anything had changed in my circumstances, but because I stopped fighting. I stopped struggling. I surrendered to the intelligence within me. Within days, things started to shift. A person called with an opportunity. A check arrived in the mail I wasn't expecting. A book I needed appeared at just the right moment. But more than the external changes, I felt different inside. The anxiety was gone. The desperate grasping was gone. I felt held, supported, loved by life itself. That experience taught me the most important lesson I could ever learn. Your subconscious mind is not something you need to manipulate, or trick, or convince. It's your deeper self. It's connected to infinite intelligence. It wants you to succeed. You just need to get out of its way and let it work. I'm telling you this because I know some of you right now feel like I felt that night, like you're broken, like you're the exception, like God or the universe or whatever you call it has forgotten about you. You haven't been forgotten. You're not broken. You've just been working against yourself without realizing it. When you stop fighting and start flowing, when you stop efforting and start trusting, when you stop demanding and start receiving, that's when the miracles happen. That's when your subconscious can finally do what it's been trying to do all along. Give you the life you desire. Let me end this section with a simple story that contains everything you need to know. There once was a farmer who wanted to grow corn. He had the finest seeds, the best soil, perfect weather. He planted his seeds in spring, and then he did something foolish. Every single day, he dug up the seeds to check if they were growing. "Are you growing yet?" he'd ask, pulling them from the soil. "Why aren't you corn yet? What's taking so long?" And then he'd plant them again, worried, anxious, disappointed. What do you think happened? Nothing grew. Not because the seeds were bad, not because the soil was bad, but because he wouldn't leave them alone long enough to grow. My friend, this is exactly what most people do with their prayers and desires. They plant the seed in their subconscious mind. I want health, I want wealth, I want love, and then within hours, they dig it up with doubt. Is it working? When will it happen? Maybe it won't work for me. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Each time you doubt, you pull up the seed. Each time you worry, you disturb the soil. Each time you check anxiously for results, you interrupt the natural growing process. A wise farmer plants the seed, covers it with soil, waters it, and then, and this is crucial, he goes about his business in faith, knowing that beneath the surface, in the darkness where he cannot see, the intelligence of nature is at work. The seed is splitting open, sending roots down, preparing to burst forth into the light. He doesn't dig it up. He doesn't worry. He trusts the process. Your subconscious mind is like that dark, fertile soil. When you plant your desire with feeling, when you impress it with a sense of reality, it begins immediately to work. But you must leave it alone. You must go about your business in faith and peace, knowing that the intelligence within you is orchestrating everything. And then, in the right time, often faster than you imagine, your desire breaks through into your visible world. Not because you forced it, but because you trusted the natural law and let it work. This is the miracle method. Plant with feeling, water with faith, harvest with gratitude. And in between, rest in peace, knowing it is done. Now, you might be wondering, Dr. Murphy, these stories are beautiful, but how do I actually do this? What are the specific principles? What am I supposed to understand? That's exactly what we're going to explore now. I'm going to break down the fundamental laws of the subconscious mind, not in complicated terms, but in a way that makes perfect, simple sense. And once you understand these laws, you'll never struggle again. You'll know exactly what to do, when to do it, and why it works. Everything I'm about to teach you rests on one foundation. There are two parts to your mind, the conscious and the subconscious, and they work in completely different ways. Understanding this difference is the key to everything. Imagine your mind as a ship. The conscious mind is the captain on the deck, making decisions, giving orders, thinking rationally. The subconscious mind is the crew below deck, following orders without question, operating all the vital systems that keep the ship running. The captain, your conscious mind, can choose. It can accept or reject. It can reason and discriminate. It has free will. It can say, I want to go to this island, not that one. But the crew, your subconscious mind, doesn't choose. It accepts. Whatever the captain impresses upon it, it says, yes, of course, right away. It doesn't argue. It doesn't judge whether the order is good or bad, wise or foolish. It simply obeys. Here's what this means for your life. Your conscious mind can desire health, wealth, and happiness. But if it's simultaneously impressing your subconscious with fear, worry, and images of lack, your subconscious follows those orders instead. It doesn't know you want the opposite. It only knows what you're feeling and imagining most deeply. Think of it this way. If you go to a restaurant and tell the waiter, I'd like the salmon, actually no, maybe the chicken, wait, I'm not sure. Probably nothing is good here anyway. What do you think you'll get? Confusion, delay, poor service. Not because the restaurant is bad, but because you gave confused orders. Your conscious mind thinks in words and logic. Your subconscious mind thinks in images and feelings. This is crucial. You can say I am wealthy 1,000 times with your conscious mind, but if your dominant feeling is fear of poverty, your subconscious accepts the feeling, not the words. This is why affirmations alone don't work for most people. They're speaking to the conscious mind, the captain, but forgetting to communicate with the crew, the subconscious, which is actually running the ship. Now, here's the magnificent part. Your subconscious mind is connected to infinite intelligence. It knows things your conscious mind doesn't. It can arrange circumstances, draw people and opportunities to you, heal your body, solve complex problems, all while you sleep. It never rests. It's working for you 24 hours a day, but it needs clear instructions. It needs to know what you want through the language it understands, feeling and imagination. When you understand this, really understand it, everything changes. You stop trying to use willpower and effort, which only work on the conscious level. You start using imagination and feeling, which work on the subconscious level, where all the real power is. Some call the subconscious the inner self. Some call it the heart. Religious texts call it the kingdom of God within you. Psychologists have various terms. But the name doesn't matter. What matters is this. There is a part of you that's vastly more intelligent and powerful than your everyday thinking mind, and when you learn to cooperate with it, life becomes magical. The mystics knew this. They said, "Be still and know." They weren't talking about physical stillness. They were talking about quieting the conscious mind, so the subconscious, the knower, could work. Jesus said, "Believe you have received, and you shall receive." He wasn't talking about conscious belief. He was talking about impressing the subconscious mind with the feeling of already having what you desire. Every great spiritual teaching, when you look closely, is teaching the same thing: how to work with your deeper mind. Now we come to what I call the law of belief. It's simple. Whatever you believe in your heart becomes your reality. Not what you wish, not what you hope, not what you say, what you genuinely believe. But let me clarify what belief really means, because most people misunderstand this. Belief is not intellectual agreement. You can intellectually agree that something is true without believing it in your heart. For example, you might agree that people can become wealthy. That's intellectual. But do you believe you can become wealthy? That's a different question. True belief is a feeling of certainty. It's the inner knowing that something is true for you. When you truly believe something, there's no doubt, no wavering, no need for constant reassurance. You just know. Think about something you absolutely believe right now. Perhaps that the sun will rise tomorrow. There's no doubt in your mind, is there? You don't check the weather report anxiously. You don't worry about it. You simply know it will happen. That's true belief. Here's how the law works. Your subconscious mind takes your beliefs, these deep convictions, and externalizes them as your life circumstances. It's like a faithful servant saying, "You believe this, so I'll make sure your experience matches your belief." If you believe life is hard, your subconscious will show you evidence of life being hard. Not because life is inherently hard, but because your subconscious is proving your belief correct. If you believe people can't be trusted, your subconscious will attract untrustworthy people into your experience. Again, not because trustworthy people don't exist, but because your belief is being confirmed. But here's the beautiful part. Beliefs can be changed. They're not fixed. They're not who you are. They're just thoughts you've thought so often they've become habitual. And this is where the miracle method comes in. You can deliberately choose a new belief and impress it on your subconscious mind. You can say, "I no longer believe in lack. I believe in abundance. I no longer believe in sickness. I believe in health. I no longer believe I'm unworthy. I believe I'm a beloved child of the infinite." The way you change a belief is not through arguing with your old belief. You can't fight an old belief and win. It's too deeply rooted. Instead, you plant a new belief by repeatedly impressing your subconscious with the feeling of the new belief being true. This is why I teach the technique of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you feel wealthy, even before you see wealth, you're planting the belief in wealth. When you feel healthy, even while symptoms persist, you're planting the belief in health. Your old belief will protest. It'll say, "But look at your bank account. Look at your body. Look at the facts." And this is where faith comes in. Faith is not blind. Faith is choosing to believe in the unseen reality you're creating, rather than the seen reality you're changing. You might ask, "But Dr. Murphy, what if I can't believe? What if doubt keeps coming back?" My answer: don't fight the doubt. Don't wrestle with it. Simply return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Every time doubt arises, gently turn your attention back to your desired belief. Think of it like training a puppy. The puppy wanders off. You don't beat it. You gently bring it back. Again and again, with patience and persistence. Over time, sometimes quickly, sometimes more gradually, the new belief takes root. And when it does, your whole world changes to match it. This is law. This is science. This is how your mind works. Now I'm going to share with you the most powerful technique I know. It's so simple that people often dismiss it, but I've seen it work thousands of times, and I use it myself every single night. I call it the sleepy state method, and it's based on a scientific fact. The period just before you fall asleep is when your subconscious mind is most receptive to suggestion. Think about what happens as you drift off to sleep. Your conscious mind, that critical, analytical part of you, begins to relax its grip. The chatter quiets down, the defenses lower, and in that drowsy, peaceful state between waking and sleeping, your subconscious mind is wide open, ready to accept whatever you impress upon it. This is why worrying in bed is so damaging. If you lie there thinking about your problems, imagining worst-case scenarios, feeling fear and anxiety, you're programming your subconscious mind with those negative images, right when it's most receptive. And then you wonder why you wake up anxious, why your problems seem to get worse, why life feels so hard. But here's the miracle. You can use this exact same state to program your subconscious with what you desire, instead of what you fear. Here's how it works. Tonight, when you're in bed and you feel yourself getting drowsy, don't just drift off thinking random thoughts. Take control of this precious time. This is your opportunity to plant seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Begin by getting comfortable. Relax your body completely. Take a few deep breaths and let go of all tension. Feel yourself sinking into the mattress, getting heavier and more relaxed with each breath. Now, and this is the key, bring to mind your desire, not as something you want in the future, not as something you're trying to get, but as something you already have, as something that's already true. If you desire health, don't think about being sick and wanting to be well. Instead, feel yourself healthy right now. Imagine waking up tomorrow feeling strong and vibrant. Feel the energy in your body. See yourself moving freely, doing all the things healthy people do. Make it real in your imagination. If you desire abundance, don't focus on your current lack. Instead, feel wealthy right now. Imagine checking your bank account and seeing abundance. Feel the relief, the freedom, the joy of having more than enough. Hear yourself saying thank you for this abundance. Make it vivid and real. If you desire love, feel loved right now. Imagine the presence of someone who cherishes you. Feel the warmth, the security, the happiness of being in a loving relationship. Don't worry about who or when. Just capture the feeling. The key is feeling. Not thinking, not visualizing with effort, but gently feeling as though your desire is already fulfilled. Stay with that feeling as you drift off to sleep. Let it be the last thing in your consciousness as you fall asleep. Why does this work? Because your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real experience and one that's vividly imagined with feeling. When you fall asleep feeling wealthy, your subconscious accepts wealth as your reality. When you fall asleep feeling healthy, your subconscious accepts health as your reality. And then it goes to work all night long, every night, to make your outer world match your inner conviction. This is not make-believe. This is not pretending. This is impressing your subconscious mind with a new pattern, a new belief, a new reality. And your subconscious, being the faithful servant it is, begins to manifest that reality in your life. I cannot overstate how powerful this technique is. I've seen people heal their bodies, attract perfect opportunities, transform relationships, create wealth, all through the consistent practice of falling asleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The reason most people fail is they try it once or twice, don't see immediate results, and give up. But remember the farmer. You must give the seed time to grow. Practice this every single night for at least 21 days. Make it as natural as brushing your teeth, and watch what happens. Some nights you'll do it perfectly. Other nights your mind will wander. That's fine. Just gently bring yourself back to the feeling. Be patient with yourself. You're learning a new skill. And like any skill, it takes practice. And here's something beautiful. Even if you fall asleep while trying to hold the feeling, that's perfect. Because you're still impressing your subconscious in that drowsy state. The effort isn't what matters. The feeling is what matters. Now let me address something important, the role of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a nice spiritual practice. It's a powerful tool for impressing your subconscious mind. When you feel grateful, You're feeling as though you've already received. And remember, your subconscious responds to feelings, not facts. When you say thank you for something before you see it in the physical world, you're telling your subconscious, this is already mine. I've already received it. And your subconscious says, if you've already received it, then let me make sure your outer world reflects that. This is why Jesus taught, when you pray, believe you have received, and you shall receive. He wasn't teaching positive thinking. He was teaching the law of subconscious mind. Believe you have received means feel grateful now, before you see the evidence. And that feeling of gratitude impresses your subconscious with the reality of your desire fulfilled. Try this. Throughout your day, whenever you think of your desire, pause and say thank you. Thank you for my perfect health. Thank you for abundant wealth. Thank you for my loving relationship, not as a desperate plea, but as a grateful acknowledgement of what's already yours in spirit and soon to be yours in form. This simple practice shifts you from a state of wanting, which implies lack, to a state of having, which implies fulfillment. And that shift in consciousness is what changes everything. Let me explain something that confuses many people: the difference between desire and attachment. Desire is good. It's natural. It's the starting point of all creation. You must know what you want, but attachment, anxious clinging, desperate needing, is what blocks your desire from manifesting. When you're attached, you're coming from a place of fear. Fear that you won't get it. Fear that it's taking too long. Fear that you're doing it wrong. And that fear impresses your subconscious mind more strongly than your words of affirmation ever could. The secret is to desire without attachment. To know what you want clearly, to impress your subconscious with the feeling of having it, and then to release it. Let it go. Trust that it's done. Go about your life in peace and confidence, knowing that the intelligence within you is orchestrating everything. This is what I mean when I say, let go and let God. It's not passive. It's not giving up. It's actively impressing your subconscious, and then actively trusting it to do its work. It's the most intelligent approach to life. Think of it like planting a garden. You plant the seed, you water it, and then you let nature do its work. You don't stand over the seed anxiously demanding that it grow faster. You don't dig it up every day to check on it. You trust the process. You go about your other activities, and in due time the seed becomes a plant, and the plant bears fruit. Your desires are the same. Plant them in your subconscious with feeling. Water them with faith and gratitude. And then let the intelligence within you bring them forth in the perfect way and perfect time. Now I want to talk about resistance, those negative thoughts and feelings that seem to sabotage our efforts. Many people ask me, Dr. Murphy, what do I do when negative thoughts come? What do I do when I feel doubt or fear? First, understand this. Negative thoughts are normal. They're habitual patterns that have been running for years. You're not going to eliminate them overnight, and trying to suppress them or fight them only gives them more power. Instead, here's what I want you to do. When a negative thought arises, don't fight it. Don't say, I shouldn't think this way. Don't feel guilty or frustrated with yourself. Simply observe it. Acknowledge it. And then gently redirect your attention to what you want instead. It's like this. Imagine you're driving down a road, and you accidentally veer toward the ditch. You don't slam on the brakes. You don't panic. You don't beat yourself up. You simply steer back toward the center of the road. Gently, naturally, without drama. That's how you handle negative thoughts. They come, you notice them, and you gently steer back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Again and again, as many times as necessary. This is not failure. This is the practice. This is how you retrain your mind. Over time, the positive thoughts become more natural. The feeling of your wish fulfilled becomes more familiar. And the negative thoughts lose their power because you're no longer feeding them with attention and emotion. Remember this always. What you focus on expands. If you focus on the problem expands. If you focus on the lack expands. But if you focus on the solution, on the abundance, on the fulfilled desire, that's what expands in your experience. Your attention is like water. Whatever you water grows. So water your desires, not your fears. Now let me give you a principle that will save you years of frustration. Don't try to figure out how your desire will come to pass. The how is not your job. The how is the subconscious mind's job. Your conscious mind is limited. It only knows what it's experienced, what it's seen, what it thinks is possible based on past evidence. If you rely on your conscious mind to figure out how your desire will manifest, you'll only come up with solutions based on what you already know. And that severely limits what's possible for you. But your subconscious mind is connected to infinite intelligence. It sees connections you don't see. It knows people you don't know. It can arrange circumstances in ways that seem miraculous to your limited conscious mind. But it can only do this if you get out of the way and stop trying to control the how. Your job is to define the what and the feeling. What do you desire? How would it feel to have it? Impress your subconscious with that. And then completely trust that the how will unfold in the best possible way. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They say, I want a new job, but I don't know anyone in that field. I want to be wealthy, but I don't have any obvious opportunities. I want a relationship, but I'm not meeting anyone. All of that is conscious mind thinking. All of that is limitation. Stop it. Your subconscious doesn't need to know anyone in that field. It doesn't need obvious opportunities. It doesn't need you to meet people in expected ways. It will create bridges where there were none. It will open doors you didn't know existed, but only if you let it. So practice this. Every time you catch yourself worrying about how something will happen, stop, take a breath, and say to yourself, I don't need to know how. My subconscious knows how. My job is to feel it done. And then return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is surrender, not passive surrender, but active surrender to the wisdom and power within you. Let me share with you another powerful technique I teach. I call it living in the end. This means conducting yourself as though your desire has already been fulfilled. Not in a delusional way, but in the way you think, speak, and make decisions. For example, if you desire wealth, ask yourself, how would a wealthy person handle this situation? How would they think about money? How would they make this decision? And then do that. If you desire health, ask yourself, how would a healthy person eat? How would they move their body? How would they think about their body? And then do that. If you desire a loving relationship, ask yourself, how would a person in a happy relationship carry themselves? How would they talk about love? What energy would they bring to their day? And then embody that. You're not pretending. You're not being fake. You're aligning your outer behavior with your inner reality. You're acting from the end, not toward the end. And this alignment is powerful, because it sends a consistent message to your subconscious mind. This is who I am now. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions all align, manifestation happens rapidly. When they conflict, when you're affirming abundance but acting from poverty, when you're visualizing health but talking about sickness, you send mixed signals and slow down the process. Consistency is key. Be the person who already has what you desire. Not someday, today. Now I want to address timing, because many people get frustrated when their desire doesn't manifest immediately. They practice the technique for a few days, maybe a week, and when nothing seems to change, they give up and say it doesn't work. Let me be clear. This method works. It's law. But manifestation has its own timing, and that timing is perfect even when it doesn't match your conscious mind's timeline. Sometimes things happen quickly, within days or weeks. Other times, it takes months. Why? Because your subconscious needs time to rearrange circumstances, to draw people and opportunities together, to prepare you for what you're asking for. Think of it like ordering something online. You place the order, you get confirmation that it's been received, and then you wait for delivery. You don't place the order and then panic an hour later because it hasn't arrived. You trust the process. You know it's on its way. Your desires are the same. When you impress your subconscious with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the order is placed. It's received. It's confirmed. Now it's on its way. Your job is to maintain the feeling of the wish, fulfilled to keep the faith, while the delivery is being arranged. And here's what I've observed over decades of practice. The reason for delays is almost always interference from the conscious mind, doubt, impatience, contradictory thoughts, giving more attention to current circumstances than to the desired end. Every time you do that, you're canceling the order and placing a new one for what you don't want. So, if you want faster results, practice consistency. Morning and night, impress your subconscious with your desire fulfilled. During the day, when current circumstances try to convince you otherwise, gently return to your inner conviction. Don't argue with what is. Just persist in feeling what you desire to be. Persistence is the key. Not desperate, anxious persistence, but calm, confident persistence. Like the steady dripping of water that eventually wears away stone, gentle but constant. And here's a beautiful secret. The moment you truly accept that your desire is already yours in consciousness, the moment you stop anxiously checking for evidence, the moment you rest in the inner knowing, that's often when it appears in your outer world. Because that state of rest and acceptance is the clearest signal to your subconscious that you truly believe it's done. Let me now teach you about the power of affirmations when used correctly. I know many of you have tried affirmations and found them ineffective. That's because most people use them wrong. An affirmation is not a magic spell. Simply repeating words has no power if there's no feeling behind them. Your subconscious doesn't respond to empty words. It responds to conviction, to feeling, to the inner knowing that what you're affirming is true. So here's how to use affirmations effectively. Choose a simple, positive statement in the present tense. For example, I am healthy and strong. I am abundantly prosperous. I am deeply loved. Keep it short and clear. Now, don't just repeat the words mechanically. That's useless. Instead, say the words slowly, and as you say them, feel them. Feel what it would be like if this were absolutely true right now. Let the feeling arise in your body. Let it fill your chest, your stomach, your whole being. If you say, I am abundantly prosperous, pause and actually feel prosperous. Feel the relief of having plenty. Feel the freedom. Feel the gratitude. Stay with that feeling for a few moments. Then repeat the affirmation again, building the feeling even stronger. This is effective affirmation. Words plus feeling equals impression on the subconscious mind. Words alone equal nothing. I recommend choosing one or two affirmations that relate to your main desire and using them throughout the day, especially in the morning when you wake and at night before sleep. But always with feeling. Make it real in your inner world, and it will become real in your outer world. Another powerful practice is what I call the gratitude visualization. This combines several principles we've discussed into one powerful technique. Here's how you do it. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Relax your body completely. Now, imagine that your desire has already manifested. See it as clearly as you can. But don't just see it from the outside looking in. Put yourself in the picture. Experience it from within. If your desire is a new home, imagine yourself walking through that home. Feel your feet on the floors. Touch the walls. Look out the windows. Feel the sense of ownership and belonging. If your desire is perfect health, imagine yourself moving freely, feeling strong and energetic. Feel your body responding beautifully to everything you ask of it. Feel vibrant and alive. If your desire is a loving relationship, imagine moments of connection with your partner. Feel the warmth. Hear the laughter. Experience the deep peace and joy of being truly loved. Make it vivid. Use all your senses. And most importantly, feel grateful. As you experience this scene in your imagination, let gratitude fill your heart. Say thank you. Feel the overwhelming appreciation for having received this gift. This gratitude visualization is incredibly powerful because it combines imagination, feeling, gratitude, and the sense of already having what you desire, all the key ingredients that impress the subconscious mind. Do this daily, even if just for 5 or 10 minutes. and watch how quickly your inner reality begins to manifest as your outer reality. Now let me address a question I'm often asked. What if I have multiple desires? What if I want health and wealth and love? Can I work on all of them at once? The answer is yes, but with wisdom. Your subconscious mind is infinitely capable. It can work on multiple goals simultaneously. But your conscious mind has limited attention. If you spread yourself too thin, trying to focus on 10 different things, you dilute your power. So here's what I recommend. Choose 1 or 2 primary desires to focus on intensely. These should be the things that matter most to you right now. Give them your full attention in your nightly practice and in your visualizations. Then, have a general feeling of abundant good for all other areas. You don't need to micromanage every detail of your life. Simply hold the general conviction that life is good, that you are blessed, that everything is working together for your highest good. Let your subconscious handle the details. Trust me, when you get one area of your life flowing in harmony with your desires, other areas naturally begin to improve as well. Success breeds success. Confidence in one area creates confidence in others. The momentum builds. So focus where it matters most, and trust that everything else is being taken care of. Let me share with you one of the most important principles I've learned. Your subconscious mind is always listening. Not just during your formal practice times, but every moment of every day. It's recording your habitual thoughts, your dominant feelings, your repeated words, and it's creating your life based on that input. This means that what you think and feel most of the time matters more than what you think and feel during 5 minutes of visualization. If you spend 5 minutes visualizing abundance but 23 hours and 55 minutes thinking about lack, which do you think your subconscious will manifest? This is why I emphasize the importance of mental hygiene, being aware of your habitual thoughts throughout the day and gently correcting them when they drift toward fear, doubt, and limitation. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to police every thought. But you do need to develop awareness. Notice what you're thinking about. Notice what you're saying to yourself and others. Notice the mood and feeling you're carrying. And when you catch yourself dwelling on problems, replaying past hurts, imagining worst-case scenarios, worrying about the future, stop. Take a breath. Redirect. Think of something you're grateful for. Remember a time you felt happy. Imagine your desire fulfilled. Sing a song. Do anything to break the negative pattern and shift to a higher frequency. Little by little, this practice transforms your habitual thinking. And when your habitual thinking aligns with your desires, manifestation becomes effortless. Now I want to teach you about the principle of revision. This is a powerful technique for clearing past experiences that are affecting your present and future. Sometimes we have memories, painful experiences, failures, rejections, trauma that keep replaying in our minds. And every time we replay them, we re-impress our subconscious with that negative pattern. We keep creating more of the same. Revision is the practice of going back to those memories and changing them in your imagination. Not to deny what happened, but to change the meaning and feeling associated with it. Here's how you do it. Think of a past experience that troubles you. Maybe a failure, a rejection, a hurtful conversation. Now, close your eyes and replay that scene in your imagination. But this time, change the ending. Imagine it going the way you wish it had gone. If someone rejected you, imagine them accepting you with warmth and enthusiasm. If you failed at something, imagine yourself succeeding brilliantly. If a conversation went badly, imagine it going beautifully. Make the revised scene vivid and real. Feel the positive emotions. Feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction. And then, this is crucial, let the revised version replace the original memory in your mind. Why does this work? Because your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between actual memories and vividly imagined ones. When you revise a memory and impress the new version on your subconscious, you change the pattern. You change the belief that was formed. You change the future trajectory that was created by that past experience. I've seen people use revision to heal relationships, overcome fear, release resentment, and change patterns that have been limiting them for years. It's one of the most practical and powerful techniques I know. Practice revision regularly, especially with recurring negative memories. Over time, you'll notice that those memories lose their emotional charge. They no longer affect you the same way, and mysteriously, new opportunities appear that reflect your revised consciousness rather than your old wounds. Let me now speak to you about patience and faith, because these are the qualities that sustain you during the invisible stage of manifestation. There's a period, sometimes brief, sometimes extended, between planting the seed and seeing the harvest. This is the invisible stage. The seed is buried in the ground. Nothing appears to be happening. This is when most people give up. But this is also when everything is happening. The seed is germinating, roots are forming, the plant is preparing to break through the soil. All of this is invisible to you, but it's absolutely real and necessary. Your desire is the same. When you impress your subconscious with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the process begins immediately. But it's invisible at first. Circumstances are shifting. People are being drawn together. Opportunities are being prepared. All behind the scenes, all beneath your conscious awareness. This is where faith comes in. Faith is not believing in something impossible. Faith is trusting the process, even when you can't see the results yet. It's knowing that the law is working even during the invisible stage. And patience is not passive waiting. Patience is active peace. It's going about your life with joy and confidence, knowing that your desire is on its way. It's the farmer's patience, not anxious, not constantly checking, but calm and certain. Cultivate this patience. Cultivate this faith. Not through effort, but through understanding. When you truly understand how the law works, patience and faith become natural. You don't need to force them. You know it's working, so you rest in that knowing. I want to share something that might surprise you. Sometimes, the first sign that your subconscious has accepted your desire is a sense of peace. Not excitement, not evidence in the outer world, but a deep, inner peace. A feeling of knowing. A release of anxiety. When you notice this peace, celebrate it. It's a sign that the seed has been planted successfully. It's a sign that your subconscious has accepted the impression and is now working to externalize it. Don't mistake this peace for indifference or giving up. It's the opposite. It's the confidence that comes from knowing it's done. It's the relief that comes from finally surrendering the struggle and trusting the process. Many of my students report that the moment they stopped trying so hard, the moment they relaxed into faith, their desire manifested. That's not coincidence. That's law. The struggle was the block. The peace was the bridge. Now let me give you some specific practices you can start using today, right now, to begin impressing your subconscious mind with your desires. First, the morning practice. The moment you wake up, before you check your phone, before you start thinking about your problems, take 5 minutes to set the tone for your day. Lie in bed, comfortable and relaxed, and do one of two things. Either imagine your desire fulfilled and feel gratitude, or repeat your chosen affirmation with feeling. Just 5 minutes. This programs your subconscious for the entire day. Second, the evening practice. We've already discussed this, but I want to emphasize it again because it's the most important practice of all. Every single night, without exception, fall asleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Make this as natural and consistent as sleeping itself. This is when your subconscious is most receptive, and this is where the real transformation happens. Third, the walking meditation. As you go about your day, walking to your car, walking to the store, walking anywhere, use that time to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Don't just walk lost in random thoughts. Walk as the person who already has what you desire. Feel it in your body. Let it radiate from you. This keeps you in the state of the wish fulfilled throughout the day. Fourth, the gratitude journal. Before bed, write down 5 things you're grateful for. Include things from your current life and things from your desired life as if they've already manifested. For example, I'm grateful for my comfortable bed. I'm grateful for my loving family. I'm grateful for my abundant income. I'm grateful for my perfect health. Mix the seen and unseen. This trains your mind to see blessings everywhere and to accept your desires as already real. Fifth, the stop technique. Throughout your day, whenever you notice negative or limiting thoughts, simply say stop. Not harshly, just firmly and gently. Then immediately redirect to a positive thought or the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This builds awareness and retrains your habitual thinking patterns. These 5 practices,